Act 4. Moliere's apartment, evening, candles in the candlesticks, mysterious shadows on the walls, disorder, manuscripts scattered around. Moliere in a nightcap, underwear, and dressing gown sits in an enormous armchair. In another sits Bouton, on a table 2 swords and a pistol. On another supper and wine, to which Bouton puts his lips from time to time. Lagrange, in a dark cloak, paces back and forth, half humming, half murmuring something. He is followed by a dark night's shadow on the wall. Lagrange. That harpsichord. Moliere. Stop it, Lagrange. You had nothing to do with it. Fate has come to my house and taken everything from me. Bouton. The veritable truth. I, too, have a tragic fate. For example, I used to sell little pies in Limoges. Nobody buys these little pies, of course. I wanted to become an actor, and I ended up with you, Moliere. Shut up, Bouton. Bouton. I'll shut up. A bitter pause. Then a creaking of the staircase is heard, the door opens, and Moiron enters. He is wearing not a caftan, but some dirty jacket, shabby, unshaven, and half drunk, with a lantern in his hand. Those sitting in the room shield their eyes with their hands. When they recognize Moiron, Lagrange snatches a pistol from the table. Moliere hits Lagrange's arm. Lagrange fires and hits the ceiling. Moiron, not surprised in the least, listlessly looks at where the bullet struck. Lagrange grabs objects at random, breaks a jug, falls upon Moiron, throws him to the ground, and begins to strangle him. Lagrange. Hang me, king, hang me. Growls. Judas. Moliere, with suffering. Bouton. Together they drag Lagrange off of Moiron to Lagrange. You'll be the death of me, you, with your shooting and noise. What more do you want? To commit a murder in my apartment? Lagrange, you creature, Zachary Moiron, do you know me? Moiron nods affirmatively. Wherever you go this night, expect death. You won't see another dawn. Lagrange wraps himself in his cloak and falls silent. Moiron nods affirmatively to him, kneels before Moliere, and bows to the ground. Moliere. What have you come for now, my boy? My crime has been discovered. What else can you fish around for in my house? What more will you write to the king? Or do you suspect that I'm not only incestuous, but also maybe a counterfeiter? Go, search the cupboards and drawers. I give you permission. Moiron bows down for the second time. Stop bowing and tell me what you want, Moiron. My esteemed and most precious master, you think I've come to ask forgiveness? No, I've come to reassure you. By no later than midnight, I will hang myself under your window, on account of the fact that my life cannot go on. Here's the rope. Takes a rope from his pocket. And here's the note. Quote, I am going to hell, end of quote. Moliere bitterly. How reassuring. Bouton takes a sip of wine. Yes, a most difficult case. A certain philosopher said. Moliere, shut up, Bouton. Bouton, I'll shut up. Moiron. I've come to be near you for a while, and if I did stay alive, I wouldn't give Madame Moliere a single glance. Moliere, you wouldn't be able to give her a glance, my son, because she's gone and I'm forever alone. I have an impetuous character. I'll do something first and only think about it afterwards. And so now, having thought and become the wiser after all that's happened, I forgive you and restore you to my house. Come in. Moiron weeps. Lagrange, opening his cloak. You're not a man, master. You're not a man. You're a rag to wipe the floor with. Moliere to Lagrange. Insolent pup. Don't talk about what you don't understand. To Moiron. Stand up. You'll wear holes in your trousers. Pause. Moiron gets up. Where's your caftan, Moiron? I pawned it in a tavern. Moliere, for how much? Moiron waves his hand, grumbles. That's swinishness. Leaving satin caftans in taverns to Bouton. Buy back the caftan. To Moiron. They say you went wandering around and even wandered into the king, Moiron, beating himself on the chest. And the king said to me, spy, spy, you're a bad actor, he says. Moliere, ah, the human heart, ah, my friend, my king. The king's mistaken. You're a first-rate actor, and you're no good as a spy. Your heart's not in it. The only thing I regret is that I won't have very long to act with you. They've set a one-eyed dog of a musketeer on me, my son. The king has withdrawn his patronage and they'll kill me. I've got to flee. Moiron. Master, as long as I'm alive, he's not going to kill you, believe me. You know what a swordsman I am. Lagrange sticks his ear out of his cloak. You're an astonishing swordsman, true. But, you vile vermin, before you get near Lord have mercy, buy yourself a funeral service in the cathedral. Moiron. I'll stab him in the back. Lagrange, that's just like you. Moiron to Moliere. I'll never leave your side, at home, in the street, night and day. That's why I've come. Lagrange, like a spy. Moliere to Lagrange. Stuff your mouth with lace. Moiron. Dear record book, don't insult me. Why insult a man who has no right to answer you back? You shouldn't touch me. There's a stain on me. And don't attack me tonight. You'll kill me. They'll hang you, and the Cabal will put the sword to our defenseless maitre. Moliere. You've grown considerably wiser since you disappeared from home. Moiron to Lagrange. Bear in mind that the maitre was declared godless for Tartuffe. I was there in the basement of the Cabal. He is outside the law, which means expect anything. Moliere. I know. Gives a start. Did somebody knock? Moiron. No. To Lagrange. Take the pistol and a lantern. We'll go and keep watch. Lagrange and Moiron take swords and a lantern and leave. Pause. Moliere. A tyrant. A tyrant. Bouton. Who are you talking about, maitre? Moliere. About the King of France. Bouton. Quiet. Moliere. About Louis the Great. A tyrant. Bouton. That's it. We're both hanged. Moliere. Oh, Bouton, today I nearly died of fright. A golden idol in the eyes, would you believe it, were emeralds. My hands were covered in cold sweat. Everything started swimming askew sideways, and I knew only one thing, that it was crushing me. The idol. Bouton, both hanged, and I'm one of them. Side by side in the square, you're hanging here, and I'm kitty corner. The guiltlessly perished Jean-Jacques Bouton. Where am I? In heaven. I don't recognize the surroundings. Moliere. All my life I've been licking his spurs and thinking just one thing, don't crush me. And all the same he crushed me, tyrant. Bouton. And the drum beats in the square. Who stuck his tongue out at the wrong moment? It'll hang down to his waist. Moliere. What for? You see, this morning I ask him, what for? I don't understand. I say to him, Your Majesty, I really hate such acts. I protest. I am insulted. Your Majesty, please explain. Please. Maybe I didn't flatter you enough. Maybe I didn't grovel enough. Your Majesty, where will you find another kiss-ass like Moliere? But what for, Bouton? For Tartuffe. For that I humiliated myself. I thought I'd find an ally, and that I did. Don't humiliate yourself, Bouton. I hate lawless tyranny. Bouton, they'll set up a monument to you, maitre. A girl by a fountain and water spurting from her mouth. You're a distinguished man. Just keep quiet. May his tongue wither. Why do you want to ruin me? Moliere, what more must I do to show I'm a worm? But you see, Your Majesty, I'm a writer, I think. And I protest, she's not my daughter, to Bouton. Ask Madeleine Béjart to come here. I want her advice. Bouton, what are you saying, maitre? Moliere, ah, she died. Why, old girl, didn't you tell me the whole truth? Or no, why? Why didn't you shape me? Why didn't you beat me? You see, she says, we'll light candles. I'll come to you in anguish. The candles are burning, but she's not here. I tore your caftan. Here's money for the caftan. Bouton, tearfully. I'll call somebody. That was 10 years ago. What are you? Moliere. Pack everything up. Tomorrow I'll play for the last time, and we'll flee to England. How stupid. It's windy on the sea. It's a foreign language, and generally it's not about England. It's about... The door opens, and the head of old René appears in it. René, there's a nun come to see you. Moliere, frightened. What's that? What nun? René, you yourself wanted to give her the theater costumes to launder. Moliere, pah, you old fool, René. How you frightened me, eh? Costumes. Tell her to come to the Palais Royal tomorrow at the end of the performance, fool. René, me? It was you who ordered it. Moliere, I ordered nothing. Renee vanishes. So any other business? Ah, yes, the caftan. Show me. Where did I tear it? Bouton. Maitre, go to bed, for God's sake. What caftan? Moliere suddenly gets under the blanket and pulls it up over his head. Almighty God, make it so that nobody heard what he said. Let's play a trick. In an unnaturally loud and false voice, as if continuing a conversation. So what are you saying, my dear sir, that our king is the best, the most magnificent king in the whole world? You'll get no objections from me. I share your opinion. Moliere from under the blanket. Giftless non-entity. Bouton. Quiet in a false voice. Yes, I shouted before, I shout now, and I will always shout, long live the king. A knock on the window. Alarmed, Moliere sticks his head out from under the blanket. Bouton cautiously opens the window, and the alarmed Moiron appears in it with a lantern. Moiron. Who shouted? What's going on? Bouton. Nothing's going on. Why must something necessarily be going on? I was conversing with Monsieur de Moliere and shouted, long live the king. Doesn't Bouton have the right to shout something? So he shouted, long live the king. Moliere. God, what a giftless fool. The actors' dressing rooms in the Palais Royal. The old green poster hangs in the same place as before. There is the same green lantern in Lagrange's room, and the oil lamp burns before the crucifix, but there is loud noise and whistling beyond the curtain. Moliere sits in an armchair in a dressing gown and nightcap made up and with a caricature nose. Moliere is excited in a strange state, as if drunk. Next to him, in black doctor's clothes but without makeup, stand Lagrange and Ducroisy. Caricature doctors' masks are scattered about. The door opens and Bouton rushes in. At the beginning of the scene, Moiron stands at a distance, immobile, in a black cloak. Moliere. Well, is he dead? Bouton to Lagrange. The sword went. Moliere. I ask that you address the director of the Palais Royal, not the actors. I am still in charge of the last performance. Bouton to Moliere. Yes, he's dead. The sword went through his heart. Moliere. God rest his soul. Well, there's nothing to be done. Prompter, peeking through the door. What's going on? Lagrange, emphatically loud. What's going on? Musketeers broke into the theater and killed the doorkeeper. Prompter. Oh, my God, vanishes. Lagrange. I, the secretary of the theater, announce the theater is full of musketeers and unknown persons without tickets. I am powerless to control them, and I forbid the continuation of the performance. Moliere. But he forbids. Don't forget who you are. You're a little boy compared to me. Look at my gray hair. Lagrange whispers to Bouton. Has he been drinking? Bouton. Not a drop. Moliere. What else did I want to say? Bouton. My golden Monsieur de Moliere. Moliere. Bouton. Bouton. Get out. I know. I've been with you for 20 years, and all I've ever heard is that phrase. Or shut up, Bouton, and I'm used to it. You love me, Maitre. And in the name of that love, I beg you on bended knee not to finish the performance, but to flee. The carriage is waiting. Moliere. What makes you think I love you? You're a babbler. Nobody loves me. Everybody torments me and annoys me. They all pursue me, and the Archbishop has issued an order not to bury me in the cemetery. So everybody will be within the pale, and I'll croak outside. Know then that I have no need of their cemetery. I spit on it. All my life you've persecuted me. You're all my enemies. Ducroisy. For the love of God, Maitre, oui. Lagrange to Bouton. How can he play in such a state? How can he play? Whistling and loud noise beyond the curtain. Hear that? Moliere. It's carnival time. They've broken the chandeliers in the Palais Royal more than once. The parterre is making merry. Bouton, sinisterly. One eye is in the theater. Pause. Moliere, growing quiet. Ah, frightened. Where's Moiron? He rushes to Moiron and hides in his cloak. Moiron, his teeth bared, says nothing, embraces Moliere. Ducroisy, in a whisper. We should send for a doctor. Moliere, peeking from the cloak timidly. He can't touch me on stage, can he? Silence. The door opens and Rival runs in. She's wearing a peculiar costume, is half naked as usual. On her head a doctor's hat, wheel-like spectacles. Rival. We can't drag out the intermission anymore. Either play or Lagrange. He wants to play. There's nothing we can do. Rival looks at Moliere for a long time. Play, Moliere, emerging from the cloak. Good for you. Come, my brave old girl. I'll kiss you. How can we start the last performance and not finish it? She understands. You've been acting with me for 12 years, and would you believe it? I've never once seen you dressed. You're always naked. Rival kisses him. Ah, Jean-Baptiste, the king will forgive you. Moliere, vaguely. Yes, Rival. Will you listen to me, Moliere? After reflecting, I will, but not to them. Makes an awkward movement with his leg. They're fools. Suddenly gives a start and changes abruptly. Forgive me, gentlemen. I allowed myself to be rude. I myself don't understand how it escaped me. I'm nervous. Put yourselves in my position. Monsieur de Croisy, Lagrange, and Bouton. In chorus. We're not angry. Rival, right after your last line, we'll lower you through the trapdoor. Hide you in my dressing room till morning, and at dawn you will leave Paris. Agreed? Let's begin, then. Moliere, yes, we'll play the last scene. De Croisy, Lagrange, and Moiron seize their masks and disappear. Moliere embraces Rival, and she disappears. Moliere takes off his dressing gown. Bouton opens the curtain that separates us from the stage. On the stage, there is an enormous bed, a white statue, a dark portrait on the wall, a bed table with a little bell. The chandeliers are shaded in green, which creates a cozy nightlight on stage. Candles are lit in a booth. Prompter appears in it. Beyond the main curtain, there is the noise of the house. Every now and then, a sinister whistle soars up. Moliere, changing abruptly, flits onto the bed with extraordinary lightness, lies down, covers himself with a blanket. Whispers to Prompter, begin. A gong strikes. The house beyond the curtain falls silent. Merry, mysterious music begins to play. Moliere snores to it. With a rustle, the enormous curtain opens. It feels as if the theater is overcrowded. In the gilded loge at the edge, some vague faces loom up. There's a loud roll of the kettle drum, and from under the floor, Lagrange rises with an incredible nose, wearing a black cap, and peers into Moliere's face. Moliere, waking up, terrified. By night and in my bedroom, too, you devil, kindly get you gone. Music. Lagrange, why such an insolent to-do? It's me, your therapist, Progon. Moliere sits up on the bed in fright. Sorry, but who's that hiding there? The portrait on the wall tears open. De Croisy sticks himself out of it, a drunken mug with a red nose, a doctor's spectacles and cap. Moliere, why, here's another I'm glad to see. De Croisy in a drunken bass. The venereological chair has sent me here as deputy. Moliere, am I dreaming? Can it be? The statue falls to pieces and Rival flies out of it. What is this wild incident? Rival, of the medical faculty I am the permanent president. Ha ha ha, in the house out of the floor grows a monster, a doctor of unbelievable height. Moliere, a doctor who goes up 2 stories. Servants, help, rings. I'm seeing things. The pillows on the bed explode, and at the head Moiron emerges. Moiron, it is I, Dr. Diaphorus. Thomas, the incomparable. Who rings? The third curtain falls, the furthest one, and from behind it emerges a chorus of doctors and apothecaries in ridiculous and strange masks. Moliere, but to what is this honor due? It seems the hour is rather late. Rival, we have come to you with news. Chorus of doctors. Bursts out. To be a doctor is your fate. Rival, who's the one that cures his stomach? Moliere, he who on heaps of rhubarb feasts. Rival, Benny. Chorus of doctors. Novus doctor, dignus est. De Croisy, and what about, say, syphilis? Moliere, a good 8 years on mercury. Ha 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 in the house. Lagrange, bravo, a remarkable reply. Rival, he is truly full of knowledge. De Croisy, it comes tripping off his tongue. One eye suddenly appears in the loge, sits on the edge, and freezes in a pose of expectation. Moiron, and there, in the celestial college, chorus of doctors. The doctors he will sit among. Moliere suddenly falls down comically. Bring me Madeleine to advise me. Help. Ha 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 in the house. Parterre, don't laugh. Quick, lies still. Music plays a few moments longer. then breaks off. In response to the beating of the kettle drum, a spooky nun emerges in Moliere's dressing room. Nun, nasally, wears his costumes, quickly gathers all Moliere's costumes and disappears with them. Commotion on the stage. Lagrange taking off his mask at the footlights. Ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur de Moliere, who played the role of Argon, has collapsed. Nervously, the performance cannot be finished. Silence, then a cry from the loge. Give us our money back. Whistling, noise. Moiron, taking off his mask. Who shouted about money? Draws his sword, tries the point. Bouton, on stage in a stifled voice. Who could have shouted it? Moiron, pointing to the loge. You or you? Silence, to One Eye. Filthy animal. One Eye, drawing his sword, climbs onto the stage. Moiron goes cat-like to meet him. Come on, closer. As he passes Moliere, he looks at him, then sticks his sword into the floor, turns and leaves the stage. Prompter in his booth suddenly bursts into tears. One Eye looks at Moliere, sheathes his sword, and leaves the stage. Lagrange to Bouton. Close the curtain, will you? The chorus comes out of its stupor. The doctors and apothecaries rush to Moliere, surround him in a frightful crowd, and he disappears. Bouton finally closes the curtain. The audience beyond it roars. Bouton runs after the group, carrying Moliere away. Lagrange. Ladies and gentlemen, help me, speaks through an opening in the curtain. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you, go home. Something terrible has happened. Rival at another opening. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg you, ladies and gentlemen. The curtain billows up. The curious try to get on the stage. De Croisy at a third opening. Ladies and gentlemen, Lagrange. Put out the lights. De Croisy puts out the lights, knocking the candles down with his sword. The noise in the house dies down a little. Rival at the opening. Put yourselves in our place, ladies and gentlemen. Go home. The performance is over. The last candle is put out and the stage sinks into darkness. Everything vanishes. Light plays on the crucifix. The stage is open, dark and empty, not far from Moliere's mirror. The dark figure sits crouched. A lantern floats onto the stage and the dark Lagrange enters. Lagrange in a solemn and stern voice. Who's still here? Who is it? Bouton. It's me, Bouton. Lagrange. Why don't you go to him? Bouton. I don't want to. Lagrange goes to his dressing room, sits down, lit by the green light, opens the book, speaks and writes. Lagrange. February 17th, there was a fourth performance of the play The Imaginary Invalid, written by Monsieur de Moliere. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Monsieur de Moliere, while performing the role of Aragon, collapsed on stage and was taken from us at once without a confession by inexorable death. As a token of it, I draw a very big black cross. What was the cause of this? What? What shall I write down? Was the king's disfavor the cause of it, or was it the black cabal? What was the cause? Fate. That's what I'll write down. Writes and fades into the darkness. Curtain.